Welcome back to PSL Living. I'm Sarah Prohaska, Public Information Officer for the City of Port St. Lucie, your host for PSL Living today. April 8th through 14th is National Victims' Rights Week, and we have a great team to support our victims, and we've got the leader of that team here with me today to talk about the work that they do. Welcome, Terry. This is Terry Owen, the Victims' Rights Coordinator for the PSLPD, correct?
Victims Assistance Coordinator.
Victims Assistance Coordinator,
yes.
I'm sorry.
But thank you for having us on.
Oh, no problem. I really appreciate you coming. And this week, or this week, which is April 8th through 14th,
yes,
is a busy week for you.
It is.
And a really great time to shed some light on the work that victims' rights advocates do in the community, and especially right here in our own Port St. Lucie PD.
Right.
So can you tell us a little bit about this week? What's going on?
One of the things that is our goal is that we raise awareness of victims' issues, as well as promote the events that are going on. So our Victims Assistance Unit is a part of the 19th Judicial Circuit Victims' Rights Coalition, and we serve with other service providers, citizens, and survivors to help promote those issues. And so one of the things that's difficult is that people don't think about victims' rights until they've been victimized. And so we'd like to get ahead of that and promote the events that are going on to help raise awareness that there is resources available for victims of crime.
Yeah.
Basically what our goal is to mitigate the emotional fallout for when someone has become a victim of a crime, that we help them, we educate them on the criminal justice system, link them with appropriate community resources, and then just help them to get through this tragic event and be able to move on into an area of hope for their future.
And it's a very important role you play, because the victims, a lot of times this is new, they're forging a new system that they've never dealt with before.
Yes.
The court system can be complicated. A lot of times the lawyers, the prosecutors, the investigators are busy investigating and trying to solve the crime and doing their role. So you really do step into a very important role that could just fall through the cracks if you weren't here. So, and it's just yourself and one other staff member, right?
We have a bilingual advocate. Esther is an absolute gem, and we're so grateful to have her back on staff with us, providing direct services to victims of Port St. Lucie. And it's funny that you say that, because so many times victims think, okay, well, I know what to expect because they watch TV. And no matter how many crime shows you watch, it's not reality. And so something like LA Law, as fun as it is to watch, gives people the impression that a crime happens, is investigated, solved, and prosecuted within a couple hours, and or at least within a 24-hour period, and that's not reality. Reality is, if it's a felony crime, it could take up to 2 years before they see the inside of a courtroom. And so there's a lot of things that go on from the start to the finish, and a lot of emotional roller coasters that happen. So we're there to provide them the education about the criminal justice system, and then also provide them with immediate crisis counseling, supportive counseling, and then refer them out for mental health counseling if that's necessary, and then just appropriate resources, because that anxiety, you know, we humans just get anxious about things that we don't know what to expect. And so we reduce anxiety by preparing people for here's what to expect in the next steps. And like you said, as wonderful as the prosecutors are and the investigators and everything else, that's not their role. And so we try to complement them to provide that liaison with agencies.
Exactly, great. So this, for victims' rights, I'm saying this wrong.
National Crime Victims'
Rights Week. I'm sorry, I had it caught up in my head here. There are several events going on, not only here, but across the Treasure Coast.
Yes.
Can you give us a little rundown of what's happening?
Well, we're excited that a lot of the agencies in the area have come together, and they've created just an entire calendar of events with us. So there's a gallery opening that's going to happen over at the Civic Center. The opening is on Thursday, April 5th, and then the gallery will actually be open all the way through the 30th of April.
The exhibit is the Chill Project.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, and just to let people know, the art gallery is inside the Civic Center.
Yes.
It's got rotating exhibits throughout the year, and this is one of them. So if you wouldn't mind touching on that a little bit.
One of the sponsors of that is the Inner Truth Project, and it's to raise awareness about sexual assault awareness.
Okay.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and so this is a project for them to be able to raise awareness and then also empower women to, one, come forward, not have shame about what they've experienced, to be able to tell their story, and also know that they have a resource and support as well.
Okay, great. And that, I'm sure, will be some very powerful art, and it's free. You just walk into the Civic Center anytime they're open, and you can go to the gallery and look at all those displays, which I'm sure will tell a powerful story.
Sunday, April 8th, group of agencies is hosting. It's called Awareness Rocks.
Okay.
And so that's kind of one of their launch events for National Crime Victims' Rights Week. It's going to be at Dreamland Park up on 25th Street in Fort Pierce.
Okay.
And then on Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock, we're going to host a St. Lucie ceremony honoring victims at 1 o'clock at the courthouse. So our goal is to have people come to honor victims of crime, and that'll be at 1 o'clock. So we're hoping that right after the lunch hours, people are going into the courthouse, that they'll stop and they'll participate with that. And we'll have multi-agencies at that as well.
Wonderful. Okay.
Tuesday is a training, which seating is limited, but people could still register at silo.org.
Okay.
And that's going to be, it's going to be presented by Silo, and it's called Speak.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday, there's a vigil down in Martin County. They're calling it Light the Dark, and it's going to be at the gazebo at 6 p.m. in Martin County.
Okay. And that's free too. Anyone can go.
Yes, ma'am.
And show their support at
Yes.
that. Okay.
So we're encouraging people to come out for that as well.
Okay.
Thursday night up in Vero Beach, there's a vigil as well. They're actually having their 26th annual vigil, and that's going to be over at Veterans Memorial Island in Vero Beach.
Okay.
And that's also at 6 o'clock. And then Friday, it is our Victims' Rights Week luncheon. And so annually we come together to celebrate Victims' Rights Week, honor victim advocates that week as well, because of the work that we do, it's also a time for us to do that. And we're also going to be presenting 3 awards at that luncheon.
Okay, great.
We're going to be honoring an outstanding services to victims, 1 for a victim advocate, 1 for a law enforcement, and the 3rd for a community agency or business that has really reached out and helped victims.
Okay, perfect.
And then Saturday, the week will wrap up with a Circle of Friends event, and I believe that's being sponsored by Parents of Murdered Children, and that'll be at Dreamland Park also from 11 to 2.
And anyone can come to that also.
Absolutely.
So of all these events, they're all free. The only ones that have a fee are the training on Tuesday.
Yes.
And the luncheon if you want to go join the luncheon. So, but we'll have all this information on the screen. And if anyone has questions, who can they call?
I guess they can call me. And my phone number is 772-344-4331.
Okay, great.
Yes.
And is there a website or that we'd like to
There is a
promote?
Facebook page for the 19th Judicial Circuit.
Okay, great.
And they can go there to check out the calendar of events as well.
Okay, perfect. All right, Terry. Well, thank you so much. And to show our appreciation for everything that you and your office does for the city, when we come back, we're going to bring back a special guest who's the mayor of Port St. Lucie, Greg Orvek, who would love to use this opportunity to present a proclamation honoring National Victims' Rights Week.
Great.
So if you stick around, we'll bring him in our next segment.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Sarah.
you so much for all this information. Really appreciate all that you do for our community.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after these messages.